Jeff Bezos eats humble pie. Forced to contract with Elon Musk SpaceX for his Project Kuiper. It's a good day. Let's go talk about it. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much once again joining me for tea time. Today we have a little bit of Dark Temptation, the new seasonal tea. So good, so good. I hope you're joining me with your cup of tea, maybe a cup of coffee, hanging out, talking tech, talking photo, talking video. Today is a technology day. We're going to be talking about Jeff Bezos' Project Kuiper, a little bit about Elon, SpaceX. What the heck is going on over there? Well, I've been doing videos about this over the last 24 months. The very first one that I did was about a year ago. Let me see, it was, December. I wrote it down, December 29th, 2022. And I talked about Elon Musk and his SpaceX and how well it was doing. This was a year ago. And Jeff Bezos was talking about his Project Kuiper and how he was going to invest $10 billion into it. He's going to launch all these satellites and he's going to be a direct competitor to Elon Musk. And at the time I said, I just don't see how this is going to happen. Elon Musk is so far ahead already and they haven't got a satellite into orbit yet. And this was a year ago. I said, there's no way it's going to happen because of the three organizations, the companies, the space companies that he contracted with at the time. None of them had any satellites up there for the Project Kuiper to date, and they were already contracted for months and months and months. So it was a year or so. So I'm like, this is not going to work. How is it going to work? There's no way. They don't have any prototypes. And just like a couple of weeks ago, a year later, they ended up putting two Project Kuiper satellites into orbit, which was a success. And I did a video about their success. Because I like to be kind of unbiased, right? I lean a little bit more Elon Musk because I do like the guy. There's some stuff that I don't like, just like anyone else, but I tell you about it. If there's anything kind of like, I'll tell you. If it's something that's really good, I'll tell you that too. So anyways, let me start out by saying I read, I would say 7 different rags, maybe 8. That's like different publications, right? Because I wanted to get everyone's take on this. What is the story? Because the idea here is finally, after months and months and months, now over a year, Jeff Bezos ends up having to eat humble pie, break down, probably cry like a baby to his wife, and give Elon Musk a call to contract 3 satellite launches with them. 3. So there's a lot more to this, and that's what we're going to dig into today. Like I said, I was reading a bunch of different articles. Let me see. PC Magazine, GeekWire, Space Explored, CNBC, NBC, ABC, Fortune Magazine, Forbes. It goes on. There is a ton. I read a whole bunch. Now remember, each one of these rags, each one of these news media corporations, organizations, they have a bias one way or another. So I read them all, and then I give you my take on it. And then most importantly, when we're done, or when I'm done, this talking head here, down below in the comments, I want to hear from you. What do you think about all of this? So I'm going to read to you one of the articles and then give you my commentary. And then once again, down below, I want to hear from you. But before I get into this, I want to say that if you haven't downloaded any of my ebooks, go check them out. They're free. Go to JCristina.com/books. Also, if you just want to say thank you for all of my hard work, there's a little thank you button down here. You could click that, give $1 or $2 if you want. If not, that's perfectly fine. Consider becoming a member of the channel. That would be even better. Also, if you enjoy this content, please throw it a thumbs up. That is very helpful. Even if you just want to comment by putting an emoji in the comments, that's great too, to have this interaction. So I know that you're there and you're actually listening. Also, if you're not subscribed, consider doing so. If you are subscribed, click this little button over here. So when I go live or when a new video comes out, you'll be notified of it immediately. And if you're looking for a VPN, consider PureVPN. The nice folks over there gave us a promo code, which is JCristina. It'll give you 15 additional % off at checkout. If you don't want to remember that promo code, just go to jcristina.com/VPN. Once again, jcristina.com/VPN. If you want more Starlink content, more Starlink goodness when you're done watching this video, check this out. I put together a playlist of over 200 videos I put together on Starlink over the last 24 months just for you. So go check those out. There's a lot of good information in there. So let's get right into this article, and then I'll give you some of my commentary. It says, in a rather surprising move, Amazon has purchased 3 Falcon 9 flights with SpaceX to deploy its Project Kuiper satellites into low Earth orbit, or LEO. The launch contract comes after Amazon bought 77 launches from SpaceX's competitors ULA, Arianespace, and Blue Origin, and reveals a lawsuit from a pension fund for not including SpaceX in the bids, the most reliable and successful launch provider on the market. Obviously, SpaceX is the best out there currently. That doesn't matter if it's government, private, or public held space company, launch company. They are the best as of right now. And if you didn't know, one of those companies that they have contracts with is Blue Origin. Blue Origin is owned by Jeff Bezos and was never able to put a satellite into orbit to date. Anyways, on Friday, Amazon announced it signed a deal to launch its Project Kuiper satellites on 3 Falcon 9 rockets starting in mid-2025. Remember that date, mid-2025. The company announced a massive group of launch contracts earlier this year with ULA, Arianespace, and Blue Origin, totaling 77 launches, which, when including the 3 contracts with SpaceX, totals 80 launches. The fact that SpaceX at the time was not included in any of the possible launch contracts, even though SpaceX is the most reliable and effective launch company on the planet, led to a lawsuit claiming Jeff Bezos' feud with Elon Musk led to SpaceX not being considered, which in turn has harmed shareholders. It has to make you wonder why Amazon chose 3 rockets, Falcon, Ariane 6, and the New Glenn, which are all under development still, to launch its satellites under the stress of the FCC's deadline of July 26. Now, if you guys don't know it, in my last video, I talked about this, whereas Jeff Bezos has a deadline, or his Project Kuiper has a deadline. He needs to launch. See, he wanted to launch, to say 3,200 satellites. Half of those need to be launched by 2026, and the rest of them launched before 2029. This deadline is a hard deadline. If he doesn't get there, he loses the license. He would not be able to use Project Kuiper as intended and sell internet service to consumers like you and I. So they have a really good point here. Why would they contract with these 3 other companies when SpaceX has their Falcon 9 that just simply works? And they're constantly launching these satellites every day, every 2 days, at least a couple launches per week. It's crazy. Not per month, not per year, per week. It is nuts. So why would this happen? I really do think that this lawsuit holds water. Think about it. They're saying that they are adversely affected because of Bezos being pig-headed. Anyways, the article continues. SpaceX's launches of Kuiper satellites are slated to begin in mid-2025, but the company hopes to begin operational satellite deployments early next year. I guess they're going to use ULA again, and that is about it, because the other 2 companies, his own, also cannot get a satellite to orbit. I don't know. Anyways, the bottom line here is what they say is something isn't adding up, and I agree with them. They say, so why would Amazon choose SpaceX to launch its satellites even after it signs so many contracts with other providers? One might think it's because the company is looking for a reliable and timely access to space, as its other rides have continued to face delays in development. However, these launches aren't planned to take place until mid-2025. And for only 3 launches, negating any benefit of getting a head start on deploying its satellites in early 2024. I agree 110%. We do expect Amazon to use the Atlas V rockets to begin launching Kuiper satellites in 2024, but it and ULA are far from being the quickest launchers in the world. Usually it takes months between launches rather than days like SpaceX. Amazon has, however, invested heavily in ULA to increase its potential launch cadence. One coincidence with Amazon's announcement today is that it came 3 days before it is set to defend itself in court over a lawsuit filed by Amazon pension shareholders. So one could speculate these 3 new launch contracts with SpaceX were made simply for the lawsuit. Elon Musk said on his social media platform X, quote, SpaceX launches competitor satellite systems without favor to its own satellites, fair and square. This is how he is, right? And I believe him 100%. Do you guys? Down below, let me know. Right now, the two main satellite internet providers are OneWeb and Starlink, and there's really no comparison between the two. Bezos wants his Project Kuiper to be in the mix also, being in that third position, but can that actually happen? That is the question. And I'm looking at it, I'm just looking at the facts, just simply the facts, the numbers. I just don't see it happening. I just simply don't. Now, one of the articles that I was reading was from Fortune magazine, and they were highlighting how Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos had this rivalry going on for a long period of time. This is not just like a year, this is like years out, and this whole dynamics between them. Now, I did some research. I want to find out, like, when did it kind of start, or when was the last really good dig between Elon Musk and Bezos? And this was like, I think it was 2021. And what ended up happening, I was looking at some news articles. I found that Jeff Bezos's Blue Origin, they lost a lawsuit against NASA for not giving them the contract. It was $2.9 billion contract, a lunar lander contract. And what Fortune magazine wrote is they said this. They said, don't expect Musk and Bezos to stop ribbing each other, as Musk did in November of 2021, tweeting. This was when it was tweeting. We're not tweeting, we're Xing? I don't know. And he referenced Judge Dredd, which is a dystopian sci-fi film. It followed Blue Origin's losing a legal fight over NASA's awarding a multi-billion-dollar moon lander contract with SpaceX. Quote, you have been judged. And I think this is it's comical. Could you imagine Blue Origin, all right, never putting one of their satellites, one of his satellites, Project Kuiper satellites, into space to date? But back in 2021, they wanted a contract for a lunar lander. Did they really expect to win that almost $3 billion contract? I mean, give me a friggin' break. It's literally pie in the sky. And I've said this forever, absolutely forever. Of course they would lose that lawsuit. There's no way for them not to. So in my previous video, I kind of gave you some context. And yes, there was a vote for Project Kuiper from the FCC. It was 5-0 and said, yes, we want Project Kuiper to go through. So they awarded them the ability or a license to launch 3,236 satellites. But the caveat here is that half of them, that 1,618 of them, needed to be launched by July of 2026. They needed to be in LEO, low Earth orbit. And the other half needed to be in low Earth orbit 3 years later, by 2029. And in my video that I just did, I gave you the numbers. It was like 947 days left, or 31 months. Okay, that's how long they had to have 50%, 1,618 satellites into orbit. And they currently have two. They have two prototypes. So when you do the math, basically he would have to put like 50 satellites a month into orbit. 50 satellites into orbit. And what I was saying is, it's not like the Falcon 9 when they're putting 50 and 50 and 50. Now they're doing 22s, but originally it was 50 because they were smaller satellites. The version 1.0s and the 1.5s, they were able to put 50 to 53 of them in that top fairing. Now with these version 2 minis, they can only put 21 to 23 of them. But still, even if they were able to put 50 in the fairing, because they're smaller satellites for Project Kuiper, they would have to make at least one launch per month and get 50 actually working into orbit over the next 31 months. I just don't see it happening. I don't see it happening. So, do you think that this is just simply pandering? Do you think that this is just too little too late? Do you think that the judge is going to see straight through this and call bullshit? Do you think that the judge is just going to hand a victory over to the shareholders and award them a hefty settlement because they were adversely affected by Jeff Bezos's pigheadedness, his unwillingness to use the most effective launch company on the planet, SpaceX? Do you think that not only will Jeff Bezos lose the lawsuit, but maybe he will be forced into acquiring more contracts with Elon Musk? Do you think that a large size slice of humble pie is on the menu for Jeff Bezos? And in my opinion, the answer is yes. And with all billionaires, I mean, they would rather die, okay, than eat humble pie. And that is fact. Remember, I told you guys many months ago that Jeff Bezos is going to need to pick up the phone and call Elon Musk and say, listen, bud, I need a ride share into orbit. I said that, right? And now today it has come to pass. Now, I'm right every once in a while. I get to pat myself on the shoulder for being right. I've been talking about this for 12 months, and it all once again came to pass. At any rate, you know what I think. I want to know what you think. Down below, let's have this discussion. I personally feel that competition is very important in any industry. And right now, there's no competition when it comes to low Earth orbit, satellite, any type of high-speed internet, the means of bridging that digital divide. There is no other company that's really doing it besides SpaceX. So I would like to see Project Kuiper succeed, even though I am not a fan of Jeff Bezos, because I am a believer in competition. I don't want to see a monopoly anywhere. But unless, just like I've said many months ago, Jeff Bezos doesn't pick up that phone and say, Elon, I need more rides. 3 is not going to be enough. All right? It's not going to happen. I really sincerely believe it. They're not going to be able to meet that deadline of 1,618 satellites in low Earth orbit by July 2026. It's not going to happen, right? Remember what I'm saying. We'll reference this video in a year. But anyways, once again, down below, I want to hear your thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, even in the least, throw it a thumbs up. That would be fantastic. It would help the algorithm. Tell your friends and family about this channel. Let's try to build it up. Post it on Reddit or your Facebook or any of your community pages. Post the channel so we can get more people here. Finally, head over to my website, JCristina.com, where you can find all the photography tools and teas and all the rest of the merch and everything. If you like any of it, please pick it up. Support me and my family. That would be awesome. Many blessings to you and your family. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you in the next one. Love you all.